Once again, continuing where we were in the first two videos, we're still talking about positions that may be on a festival team. And the next one that we have is tickets and ticketing. You would probably use a ticketing service to sell tickets in advance. But you need to have tickets for sale at the gates, of course, when people get there. You need to have people at the gates to take tickets from customers. You need to have people at the gates to handle money when they sell tickets. You need to have people to put on wristbands or whatever method you're using for to determine who's paid and who hasn't. And usually at the gate is also the time that there's usually a station to check IDs and put on wristbands or whatever method you're using again to tell who's over 21 and who's able to drink beer. The ticket person will be the one who comes to end of the night, who will be there counting all the money and making sure that everything balances, and will report directly to the festival director with ticket sales, and will deposit that money at the end of the night somewhere. We mentioned gates, and I just mentioned all of that, so I won't mention it again. But that would be the ticket person's responsibility to do that. Transportation. This is an important job and can be difficult. The transportation director needs a team of people, and probably a team of, depending on what the bands have requested, definitely some vans. May have to get a limo or two, just kind of depends on what goes on. But he's responsible, or she is responsible, for moving artists from point A to point B, whatever that happens to be. Frequently, it's from the hotel to the stage and back. Other times, it might be necessary to move an artist out to dinner or to the airport or whatever it happens to be. I have had artists who have had to go do laundry, that we've had to take them for, to go buy cigarettes, for all kinds of different things. So, transportation is a very important part. The director of merchandising is another important place. Now, the director might not actually design the t-shirts, but it is important that the director of merch have access to all of these sales, the t-shirts, the posters, the keychains, whatever it is you're going to sell for your festival. And we'll have a team to do that in a specific location, probably a large tent. Now, here's the thing. When you do a festival, festival always sells the band's merchandise. The band does not sell their own. They give it to the festival merchandise manager, who will take the stuff to the booth and will sell it, and then we'll settle with the band at the end of the band set, or at the end of the evening, however long the band wants to leave their stuff on sale. If they're staying to the end of the night, if they're an early band, stay until the end of the night, then they'll leave it on sale all night. If not, they'll need to catch it and hop on their bus and move to their next place. But that is important, that the merch director has to deal with all of the artists as far as selling their merchandise. That includes CDs and pretty much everything else. Then there's a director of volunteers. Volunteers, in my world, I've been to festivals where it's not true, but in my world, I don't allow volunteers to be in a situation where they handle money or handle sensitive jobs of whatever it might happen to be. I depend on people that I'm actually paying to handle that sort of thing. I don't let volunteers sell beer. I don't let them do anything that has that kind of responsibility, because I've found that volunteers really don't care. They give away more beer than they sell. So I use professional beer sellers when I do it, not volunteers. I do need volunteers to handle VIP lounges. I do need volunteers to handle a number of other things, usually maybe in the merch booth as well. Various and assorted places you'll find that volunteers are handy, putting up signs, directing traffic, any number of possibilities. Driving golf carts, driving people around in golf carts that need to be moved from point A to point B. That type of thing are what volunteers are really good for, not in any kind of thing that involves financial support. Um, and then last but not least, you got to have a banker. This does not have to be a real, sure enough banker, but it has to be somebody who is responsible for the bank. You can't run a festival without having several $1,000s in change, in $1 bills, $5 bills, and small bills, because everybody that walks through the gate is going to give you a $20 bill to start with, and they're going to buy that $5 beer worth a $20 bill, and you're going to have to be able to give them some change back. And that's true. You have to supply the food vendors. You have to supply everybody with change. So you got to have a banker to handle that. The banker also handles cash as it comes in, as the beer people or whoever it is comes in and just throws money on the table. The banker is going to be there to count it. We usually have counting machines to run the money through. Put bands on the like bundle $101 bills together and whatever it happens to be, and put change in coin sleeves and that sort of thing. And at the end of the night, the banker, of course, has to know how much money he's got, and then he's going to take it to a bank and actually deposit it, because you don't want to have that kind of cash just laying around with unprotected. So it's kind of important. That's a very important job to have to do. And then a word or two about communications on site. Radios are a must-have. It is important that the festival director and every department head have a radio so that they can be in contact with each other. Radios that we use for festivals generally have 16 channels, and every one of these different people that we've talked about has their own channel, so that they can talk to their own people, whoever they happen to be. Like all the food vendors might have radios. Everybody, all the beer booths will all have a radio. Not so much for security, because if security uses policemen, police have their own radio. You'll need your radio to get in touch with the head of security, who then can use their own police radio channels to get in touch with the other policemen there. But everybody's got to be in touch. Radios are the most vital thing. Right after cell phones came around, we tried a festival once that I was not the director of, but I was working. We tried it with cell phones instead of radios, and it absolutely did not work. So the radios are the only way to go. But cell phones are important too, because there is information that you do not want to transmit over radios. Sometimes personal information, financial information, are things that you don't want to do over an open radio channel. So that's about it for the moment. Maybe some more later on, but that's going to be it for the moment. See y'all a little later.